Hey there, thrill seekers and monster buffs. I'm back, and oh boy, do I have a treat for you. After tangoing with werewolves to zombies, I've decided it's high time we sink our teeth into something a bit more bloodthirsty. That's right, we're talking vampires. And no, before you even think it, they don't freaking sparkle, and they're about as sexy as a 6-foot-tall bat with a face only a mother could love. If that's your thing, hey, I'm not here to judge, but maybe keep that number for a good therapist handy. So, if you're ready to dive into the world of the undead who prefer their steaks through the heart rather than on a plate, buckle up. We're about to unravel the mystery, debunk the myths, and get down to the nitty-gritty on how to survive a vampire encounter without ending up as a midnight snack. Let's get started, shall we? And remember, in the world of vampires, it's always wise to keep a sharp steak handy and garlic in your pockets. Let's turn those bloodsuckers' dinner plans upside down. Welcome to the first tip of our guide to not becoming an all-you-can-drain buffet for vampires. The first rule in the Vampire Survival Handbook is simple yet vital. Avoid nighttime and remote locations. Vampires, those notorious nocturnal fiends, thrive under the cloak of darkness. Their predatory instincts kick into high gear when the sun sets, turning the night into their personal hunting ground. It's not just their strength that increases. Their senses become sharper, making them formidable opponents in the dark. That's why the first line of defense against these bloodsuckers is to stay where they're least comfortable, well-lit, crowded areas. Picture this. You're walking alone down a deserted alley after midnight. The only sound is your footsteps echoing off the walls. Suddenly, you feel it. That prickling sensation on the back of your neck. The unmistakable feeling of being watched. Before you know it, a shadow detaches itself from the darkness. Your heart races, your breath quickens, but it's too late. Now, let's flip the script. Imagine instead that you're in a bustling city center, surrounded by bright lights and people. The atmosphere is lively, almost electric. You're visible, you're not alone. And most importantly, you're safe. Vampires avoid such places like the plague. They despise the light and the presence of too many potential witnesses. It's the perfect deterrent. So the key takeaway here is clear. Stick to the light like it's your best friend. Avoid wandering off into remote or poorly lit areas, especially after dark. The nightlife might have its allure, but in a world where vampires lurk in the shadows, it's a risk you can't afford to take. Remember, in the game of survival, the smart move is to play it safe, not sorry. Stay in the light, stay in sight, and you'll stay off the vampire's menu. Keep this mantra in mind. If it's night, stay in sight. It's not just a catchy phrase, it's a life-saving strategy. Cities and well-populated areas are your sanctuaries. If you must travel at night, do so in groups and stick to well-lit streets. The glow of streetlights and the buzz of human activity are your shields against the lurking dangers of the night. Moving on to tip 2 of our no-nonsense guide to outsmarting vampires. Garlic as a deterrent. Now, before you roll your eyes and think I've been watching too many old horror flicks, hear me out. Garlic, my friends, is more than just a staple in Italian cuisine. It's your aromatic armor against the Fang Gang. Let's talk science for a sec, or at least folklore science. Garlic has been used for centuries as a method to repel vampires, and there's something about its strong odor that these creatures find utterly repulsive. Maybe they just have a really refined palate. Whatever the reason, garlic has stood the test of time as a vampire repellent. Now, how do you use this to your advantage? It's simple. Keep fresh garlic bulbs or even garlic oil with you, especially if you're venturing into areas where vampire sightings are more common. String up some garlic around your home, especially near entry points. Think of it as a stinky yet highly effective security system. And here's a pro tip. Mix garlic oil with water in a spray bottle and keep it handy. It's like pepper spray, but for vampires. If you find yourself face to face with a bloodsucker, give them a good spritz. But let's not stop at just carrying garlic. Incorporate it into your daily life. Cook with it. Wear it. Heck, even make a fashion statement out of it. The key is to make garlic a constant in your life. Vampires are cunning and opportunistic. The more garlic you have around, the less appealing you become as a midnight snack. Imagine this scenario. You're walking home late at night, and you sense that eerie feeling of being followed. You quicken your pace, your heart pounding in your chest. Suddenly, a figure steps out from the shadows, their eyes glinting with a hunger that chills you to the bone. But you're prepared. You reach into your pocket and pull out a garlic bulb, holding it out like a talisman. The vampire recoils, hissing, as the pungent aroma hits them. They can't stand it. With a final glare of malice, they vanish into the night, and you're left standing, heart racing but safe, thanks to your trusty bulb of garlic. Incorporating garlic into your daily life could mean planting it in your garden, wearing a small pouch of it around your neck, or keeping cloves of it in your pockets. It's not just about having garlic on you, it's about creating a no-fly zone for vampires. So, there you have it. Whether it's hanging from your doorway, woven into a garland, or tucked into your jacket, garlic is your smelly shield in the fight against the undead. Remember, in the world of vampires, a little bit of garlic goes a long way. Stay safe, and keep those bloodsuckers at bay. Venturing into tip 3 of our vampire survival guide, let's delve into something a little more mystical: sacred objects. These are not just relics or trinkets. They are potent symbols of faith and protection against those who dwell in the shadows. In the realm of vampire lore, it's widely believed that objects imbued with religious significance, be it crosses, holy water, or other sacred symbols, hold the power to repel these nocturnal predators. It's crucial to note, however, that their effectiveness often hinges on the belief of the person wielding them. There's something about genuine faith that vampires find utterly repulsive, as if the conviction behind these items burns brighter than the sun in their undead eyes. Holy water, for instance, is more than just tap water with a prayer. When blessed with true spiritual intent, it becomes a liquid nightmare for any vampire it touches. A well-aimed splash can sear their unholy flesh, making it an invaluable tool for close encounters. Similarly, a cross or religious amulet held by someone with a firm belief in its power can act as an invisible shield, creating a barrier that no vampire dares to breach. So, what's the game plan? Arm yourself with these sacred items. Hang a crucifix above your door, keep a small bottle of holy water in your bag, or wear a blessed pendant. But remember, the power doesn't solely reside in the objects themselves. It's the faith you place in them that turns them into vampire repellents. Whether you're a devout believer or someone who just respects the power of these ancient symbols, having sacred objects can provide not just physical protection, but also a psychological edge. In a world where darkness reigns and vampires prowl, a little faith can be your guiding light. So, hold your sacred objects close, and let your conviction be the shield that keeps the fangs at bay. All right, fellow night creep avoiders, let's jab our way into the heart of the matter. Literally. Tip number 4. We're talking about the good old wooden stake, the MVP in your anti-vampire toolkit. This isn't your garden variety twig. We're talking a badass, vampire heart-piercing, make Dracula cry for mommy kind of stake. Picture this. It's darker than a bat's armpit outside, and you're tiptoeing around, trying not to become a midnight snack for some fanged weirdo. You've got your trusty stake, let's call it Mr. Pointy, clutched in your sweaty palm, sharper than your grandma's tongue at Thanksgiving dinner. Now, using a stake isn't just about poking holes in things willy-nilly. There's an art to it. You gotta be sneaky, like a ninja in fluffy slippers. Vampires, despite being dead and all, are quicker than a caffeinated squirrel. One minute they're brooding in the corner, the next they're all up in your grill with their fangy mouths. So, you wait for that perfect moment when Count Creep is distracted. Maybe he's checking himself out in a mirror. Oh wait, he can't see his reflection. Rookie mistake. That's when you lunge like a tiger and bam, right in the ticker. Now, let's not kid ourselves. If you think you're gonna waltz up to a vampire, stake in hand, and not have your butt handed to you on a silver platter, you've got another thing coming. These bloodsuckers have been around the block more than a few times. They've seen stakes before. Hell, they probably have a collection of them. What you need is practice. Practice your lunges, your feints, your dramatic aha moments in front of a mirror. Bonus, you'll look cool doing it. And remember, aim is everything. Miss the heart, and it's game over. You're now officially part of the Undead fan club. Keep Mr. Pointy handy, inside your jacket, under your pillow, taped to the back of the toilet, because you never know. Just remember, the pointy end goes into the vampire, not your foot. Don't laugh. It happens. And ER nurses have heard it all before. In short, the wooden stake isn't just a pointy piece of wood. It's your golden ticket to not being someone's blood bag. Be smart, be sneaky, and for the love of garlic, keep that stake sharp. Happy hunting. All right, buckle up, buttercups, because we're diving into the sparkly, bizarre world of vampire detection. Tip number 5, enter the humble mirror. Not just for checking out your fabulous self or practicing your blue steel look. Nope, this shiny pal is your go-to gadget for unmasking, blood-sucking party crashers. Let's paint the scene. You're at a swanky party, the kind where the punch is spiked and the only chips are the ones on people's shoulders. Everything's cooler than a polar bear's toenails until you notice someone's not casting a reflection in the big, ornate mirror by the bar. Ding, ding, ding! We have a vampire in the house, folks. Now, before you go all Van Helsing and cause a scene, remember, subtlety is key. You don't want to be that person who screams vampire and gets escorted out by security, all while the actual vampire sips a Bloody Mary and smirks at your drama. Use mirrors cleverly. Strategically place them to catch reflections, or lack thereof, without being obvious. Maybe suggest a fun group selfie and watch as Count No Reflections squirms his way out. It's like playing Where's Waldo, but with higher stakes, pun intended. But here's a pro tip. Don't rely solely on mirrors. These fanged fiends are tricksters, and might have learned to dodge their reflection giveaways. That's right. Some of these bloodsuckers have more tricks up their sleeves than a Vegas magician. And let's not forget the psychological warfare. Imagine the sheer panic a vampire feels when they realize they're busted. It's like showing up to an exam you didn't study for, but instead of failing calculus, you're getting staked. Talk about a bad day. So, keep those mirrors handy. In your purse, your car, heck, even use your phone's selfie cam as a makeshift vampire detector. It's all about being prepared. Mirrors aren't just for making sure your hair's on point. They're a vital tool in your not becoming a vampire snack arsenal. Remember, in the world of vampire hunting, knowledge is power and mirrors are your sneaky little informants. Keep your eyes peeled, your mirrors cleaner than a germaphobe's kitchen, and always have an escape plan. Because when you out a vampire, things can go from twilight to fright night real quick. Stay sharp, stay shiny, and most importantly, stay alive. All right. Class is in session, and today's subject is Vampire Lore 101. Grab your notebooks and a garlic snack, because we're about to deep dive into the freaky, fanged world of our nocturnal nemesis. Knowing your enemy is half the battle won, and let's face it, these undead dudes, and dudettes, come with more variations than your grandma's meatloaf recipe. Picture yourself walking through a foggy, moonlit cemetery, because why not? You hear a twig snap, and bam! You're face to face with a creature of the night. Is it your run-of-the-mill Dracula wannabe, or some ancient, unpronounceable force that watched the pyramids being built? Well, buddy, that's where your vampire homework comes in. Vampires are like snowflakes. Deadly, bloodthirsty snowflakes. Each culture has its own brand of neckbiter. You've got your classic Transylvanian count, your hopping Jiangshi from China, your suave South American chupacabra lookalikes, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. So, what's the game plan? Hit the books, the blogs, the creepy forums moderated by that guy who claims he's a 400-year-old vampire. Spoiler, he's not. Learn their strengths, their weaknesses, and what makes them tick. Or not tick, since the whole not having a heartbeat thing. For instance, some vamps get all frazzled by holy water, while others are allergic to silver. Some can't cross running water, and others can't enter your crib without an invite. Rude much. And remember, knowledge is power. The power to not get your blood turned into a Capri Sun pouch. But hey, don't get cocky. Just because you know a thing or two about vampire lore doesn't mean you're the Van Helsing of your neighborhood. These suckers have been around the block, and they've got more survival tricks than a cockroach in a nuclear fallout. So, arm yourself with knowledge, a steak, or two, and maybe a witty one-liner for when you dispatch these undead party poopers. Remember, in the world of vampire hunting, being a know-it-all could just save your neck. Literally. Class dismissed. Alright folks, grab your doormats and delete your Airbnb apps, because we're about to talk about the ultimate vampire party foul, crashing your pad without an invite. That's right. In the wacky world of bloodsuckers, manners matter. Vampires, for all their fangs and ferocity, apparently can't step foot in your humble abode unless you roll out the red carpet and say, "Please come in." Imagine this. You're home, binge-watching your favorite series while devouring a pizza that's more cheese than crust. The only way to eat a pizza, let's be honest. There's a knock at the door, and who could it be? A late-night salesman? That neighbor who thinks 11 p.m. is a great time to borrow sugar? Nope, it's a vampire, asking if he can come in to discuss the joys of eternal life and maybe nibble on your jugular. Here's where your vampire savvy kicks in. Instead of rolling out the welcome mat, you remember the golden rule. These creatures might be able to turn into bats or mist, but when it comes to entering homes uninvited, they're as powerless as a phone on 1% battery. But don't just slam the door in their fanged faces. Be a gracious, almost victim. Politely decline with a, "No thank you, I'm allergic to having my blood drained," or a classic, "I'm sorry, I'm already in a committed relationship with my plasma." Remember, a little humor goes a long way, especially when you're trying not to become an all-you-can-drink buffet. This little quirk in the vampire rulebook gives you a fantastic advantage. Your home becomes your fortress, your safe haven, your not-today Dracula zone. It's like having a vampire-proof force field, as long as you don't roll out the red carpet with an invite. Now, let's not get complacent. Just because your home is your castle doesn't mean you should start hosting vampire-themed parties and taunt the undead from your living room. Stay sharp, stay safe, and maybe invest in some good blinds. Vampires are notorious peeping toms. In conclusion, remember this simple house rule. If you didn't invite them, they can't come in. Keep your doors closed, your invites non-existent, and your sense of humor about the whole vampire at your door scenario. Stay witty, stay wise, and keep your neck bite-free. And hey, if a vampire ever does show up at your doorstep, maybe offer them a garlic breadstick through the mail slot. It's not rude if you're preventing your own untimely demise, right? So there you have it, your vampire-proofing home guide. It's not just about locks and security cameras. It's about sticking to the age-old rule of hospitality. Uninvited guests, especially the fanged variety, are a big no-no. Keep your threshold sacred, your invitations non-existent, and maybe consider investing in a good peephole. Because in the world of vampires, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Or worse, someone's snack. Stay savvy, stay safe. And remember, in the battle against vampires, your home is your fortress. All right, green thumbs and garlic lovers, it's time to dig into the world of vampire repellent botany. Who knew your herb garden could be more than just a source for spicing up your spaghetti? That's right, we're talking about weaponizing your parsley, sage, rosemary, and, most importantly, garlic to ward off those pesky bloodsuckers. Picture yourself in a scenario where you're like, oops, did I just wander into Vampire Central? Maybe it's an eerie forest, maybe it's that creepy abandoned house on the hill, or maybe it's just your grandma's attic. Wherever it is, it's giving off major vampire vibes. What do? Panic? Scream? Nope. You reach into your pocket and pull out a bunch of herbs. Now, before you start thinking you're going to challenge Dracula to a cook-off, let me explain. As we've already discussed, garlic is the MVP of vampire repellents. It's like kryptonite to Superman, but smellier. Hang a few cloves around your neck and you're basically walking around in a vampire-proof bubble. Sure, you might smell like an Italian restaurant, but it's a small price to pay for not being an appetizer. But wait, there's more. Garlic's not the only herb on the vampire hit list. Let's talk about vervain and wolfsbane. These aren't just cool names for your indie band. They're like the Swiss Army knives of anti-vampire warfare. Vervain is like the glitter bomb of the vampire world. Sprinkle some of this magic and watch them recoil in horror. Wolfsbane? More like Wolfbane, am I right? It's not just for werewolves. Vamps hate it too. So here's the game plan. Start planting these bad boys around your house. Line your windowsills with garlic, make vervain potpourri, maybe even start a little herb garden with a sign that says, "Vampires, keep off the grass." Get creative. It's not just gardening, it's strategic anti-vampscaping. But let's not forget, while you're out there being the Edward Scissorhands of vampire repellent gardening, stay alert. Vampires are crafty. They might not be able to get past your botanical barrier, but they're known to have a few tricks up their sleeveless capes. In conclusion, embrace your inner herbalist. In the battle against vampires, every clove of garlic, every sprig of vervain, and every wolfsbane petal is a soldier in your army. Arm yourself with Mother Nature's anti-vampire arsenal, and you'll be more than just a green thumb. You'll be a vampire's worst nightmare. Stay leafy, stay garlicky, and remember, in the world of vampire hunting, the best offense is a good defense, and possibly a good pasta sauce. Ahoy, mateys! It's time to set sail on the high seas of vampire survival tactics. Strap on your life jackets and hold on to your garlic, because we're talking about vampires and their not-so-friendly relationship with running water. That's right. According to the lore, these bloodthirsty buccaneers can't cross running water. It's like they skipped swim class for a few centuries. Imagine this. You're being chased by a vampire, one of those really persistent types who just can't take a hint that you're not interested in him like that. You're running faster than when you realize there's a sale at your favorite store. Suddenly, you come to a raging river, a babbling brook, or heck, even a vigorously spraying garden hose. What do you do? If you're thinking, time to show off my backstroke, think again. Instead, you put that body of water between you and Fangs McGee. It's like an instant vampire repellent. Now, why running water? Who knows? Maybe vampires are just really bad with directions and can't handle the current. Maybe they watched Titanic one too many times and developed a phobia. The point is, it works in your favor. But hold your rowboats. Don't start building moats around your house just yet. While it's a handy trick in a pinch, remember, these are vampires we're talking about. They've been around the block and have probably found a few workarounds, like bridges, boats, or Uber. Do they have a boat service yet? So, what's the lesson here? Always be aware of your surroundings. If you're in vampire territory, and let's face it, these days, where isn't? Know where your nearest river, stream, or water gun arsenal is. It might just be the thing that saves your neck. And let's not forget the most important rule. Don't push your luck. Just because you've got the Mississippi between you and Dracula doesn't mean you should start doing the Macarena and taunting him. Vampires are known for holding grudges, and you don't want to end up on their "eat this dumbass on sight" list. In conclusion, while you might not be able to splash holy water in a vampire's face every time, you can certainly use Mother Nature's waterways to your advantage. Remember, when it comes to avoiding a vampire's bite, sometimes the best path is the wet path. Stay dry, stay alive, and keep an eye out for those running waters. They're not just for skinny dipping anymore. Welcome to the final tip of our How Not to Become a Vampire's Happy Meal list. Buckle up, Garlic Gang, because we're about to dive into something that's part macabre, part genius, and 100% effective. We're talking about vampire ashes as a repellent. That's right. Nothing says, "back off, bloodsucker," like carrying around a bit of your former fanged foe in a jar. So, let's set the scene. You've bravely battled a vampire, stakes have been driven, and poof, your night-stalking nemesis is now a pile of dust. While you might be tempted to bring out the vacuum cleaner and call it a day, here's a pro tip. Collect those ashes. It's like keeping a piece of the Death Star after blowing it up. Not only is it a cool trophy, but it also packs a punch against other vampiric villains. Think of it as the ultimate vampire repellent. Vamps are a superstitious lot, and nothing freaks them out more than the remains of their undead brethren. It's like showing up to a ghost party with an exorcist on speed dial. Sprinkle a little bit of Vlad the ash heap around your windowsills, doorways, or even in your pocket sachet, and watch as vamps steer clear of your personal space like it's garlic-scented holy water. But let's get real for a second. Carrying around vampire ashes isn't just about protection, it's a statement. It says, I'm not just a survivor, I'm a vampire-slaying badass. It's the ultimate power move in the supernatural world. Plus, it's a great conversation starter at parties. Now, a word of caution. Don't go around flaunting your ashy anti-vampire accessory like it's the latest fashion trend. You want to keep this little secret weapon, well, secret. The element of surprise is key in the vampire hunting game. Plus, you don't want to be known as the weirdo who carries around vampire dust. Subtlety is the name of the game. In conclusion, vampire ashes aren't just the remains of your fallen fanged foe. They're your ticket to a vampire-free existence. It's like having an undead restraining order. So, next time you vanquish a vampire, think twice before you break out the dustpan. Those ashes are gold. Supernatural gold. Well, look at you, standing at the precipice of becoming a certified vampire avoidance expert. As we close the coffin lid on our How Not to Become a Vampire's Happy Meal guide, let's take a moment to bask in your newfound badassery. You've journeyed through the dark, armed with garlic and witty retorts, navigated the shadows, and emerged as a champion of the night avoidance arts. Let's recap the survival symphony you've orchestrated. You've learned the fine art of staying out of vampire hotspots, because nothing spoils a night out like an uninvited neck nibble. Mastered the garlic garland look. Who knew Italian cuisine could be so life-saving? And you're now an expert in wooden stake aerodynamics. You've turned your home into a vampire-repelling fortress, complete with herb gardens that would make any bloodsucker think twice. You've honed your reflexes to rival those of a caffeinated ninja, and your knowledge of vampire lore would put Van Helsing to shame. Heck, you've even got vampire ashes in your pocket, casually carrying around the ultimate talk to the hand sign for the undead. But let's not forget the most important lesson of all: keeping your cool. In the world of vampires, panic is a no-go. You've got to be as chill as a cucumber in a freezer in Antarctica. So, as you stride confidently into the moonlit night, remember the words of wisdom from your trusty vampire survival guide. Keep your garlic close, your wooden stakes closer, and always keep your sense of humor about you. Because when you can laugh in the face of danger, or in this case, in the fangs of danger, you're truly untouchable. As you step out, stake in one hand and a witty one-liner in the other, remember that the night is yours. The vampires? They're just living in it. Well, undeading in it, technically. You've become the thing that goes bump, right back at the things that go bump in the night. And if ever you find yourself doubting, just look back on this guide. Think of it as your vampire survival Bible, your handbook for handling the children of the night. You're not just a survivor, you're a warrior, a guardian of the garlic, a sultan of sunlight, a maestro of mirrors, and now a hero in your own epic tale. So go forth, intrepid vampire avoider, and spread your wisdom. But maybe keep the vampire ashes thing under wraps. Some things are better left unsaid at dinner parties. You've graduated from the School of Vampire Survival with honors, and the night has never been safer. Congratulations. And remember, in the world of fangs and folklore, you're the one with the upper hand. Stay sly, stay spry, and let those vampires try. They've got nothing on you. The night is yours, so own it.